Did you
All right.
know that this is the 20th episode of our podcast?
I forgot that. I knew the last one was the 19th, and I was all like thinking about it. I'm like, next time it's gonna be 20. Cool. Very cool.
Are you ready to get started? Do you want me to get started? Do you want me to talk first? The biggest update of the
Um,
day?
Biggest update of the day.
Hmm.
Yes, go for it.
All right. This was literally just today. So, OpenAI finally launched their video generator, SORA, and they're doing this 12 days of OpenAI. So, just kind of Christmas thing where they skipped. I think they're just skipping weekends, but going from the 5th to the 20th. And today was day three. The first day they did the full O1 reasoning model. They had the O1 preview out for a little while, but now they have O1 like official release, as well as their ChatGPT Pro subscription. That's $200 a month, and you get a lot of access to the latest, but it's very pricey, and I don't know. I'm never gonna pay for it, but it's yeah. So they released those, and then on day two they had this like research thing. I didn't even look into it too much, but day three was today, and they released their video generator, and I mean, this is kind of, yeah, I ended up using it because I got access to it after it launched today, and I had made one video and it didn't work out great. It's not even really worth sharing, but I I think it's a cool tool, and I think it'll be cooler when it becomes faster, because right now it took forever. I was in the queue for a while, but also I was like 45 minutes after it launched trying to make a big 10-second video, and I'm sure a lot of people were jumping on and using it right away. So took a
Sure.
while, but when it's faster, it will be cool. Their UI is really cool, as silly as it is. I still think they do a better job at that than other places. You're able to, there's like a whole, let's just go through it. There's a library to work with, and you can have like folders of different works. So you can see your past videos that you created in the prompts, and you can, create folders of different projects. Yay, organization. And then also there's the ability to create or remix videos. So you can go to your videos or other people's videos. You can see their direct prompt and say remix and like change a bit of the prompt to change the video a bit, but take inspiration from theirs. And then there's a storyboard where you give a prompt and then you can see like a timeline. So you can say then 6 seconds in, I want the character to do this. And then it'll create the video and kind of go along with it. And you'd be able to
Interesting.
edit and like, yeah. So it's like an editor, but it's just editing through prompts. And then a bit of, after that creates the video, you can edit that and splice it. If it like started to do something wonky at the end, you can take that, cut it off, and then say, no, now it, walks down the stairs or whatever. And then, so that was kind of cool. And then, yeah, and then there's an area where you can see like recommended videos, or you can see other people's videos. So you kind of actually create like an account for it. Um, and you can bookmark videos. You can loop videos. So if you find a video you like, you can hit loop and you can decide whether you want it to add a lot of frames or a little bit. If it's a little bit, it just tries to like transition quickly. If it's just one video and it's looping, that's easier. But there's also a blend option where you can choose two videos or images, and it'll try to make one move to the scene of the next. And then on top of that, you can do the whole upload a picture and turn it into a video thing, and you can
That's
choose
cool.
the different like specifics. You can go choose from 5 seconds to 20-second videos. You can choose whether it's a landscape or portrait video, 480p to 1080, but of course the higher resolution takes longer to generate. And you can also, I think this is maybe only the pro subscription, or maybe I could do two at once, but I couldn't do like four or something. But you can generate multiple videos at once, so you can choose the one that you like the best. And so it's kind of cool because you can like generate a video, remix it to try to get it exactly how you want. You can throw it in a storyboard and keep adding videos to make the story actually progress and make a longer thing. But obviously, this is the ground level. It'll hopefully only get better. So hopefully, it'll be a lot faster to generate these videos. They'll be higher quality. It'll get better at training on like human movements and such, because it's still pretty wonky at that as well. And be able to, make 2 or 3 minute videos pretty quickly. So down the road for sure, but finally launched it, and it looks like it's going to be pretty decent and have some cool features. And I like their like community way of doing it, where you can see other people's things and take inspiration off of them, or even use their video and remix it to get exactly what you want. So I also watched Marquez Brownlee. He did a review of it that went out today. He got to review it in advance. So his review is pretty cool, but during his review it showed that like it's still pretty good at abstracts, pretty good at cartoons, pretty good at the fake stuff. Once you try to make it photorealistic, it starts to lose track of certain things and they go behind other ones and then just disappear entirely, or it
Sure.
just gets a little weird. So yeah, and then for the specifics, you can do 50 generations a month at lower resolution, with the smaller subscription that I currently have. And if you do Pro, you can have unlimited generations. But again, it's 200 a month. But I think it'll be cool for cartoon stuff, and I think it'll also be cool for like video intros and transition scenes and stuff like that that aren't, full movies or anything like that. They're not replacing YouTubers or movies yet, but they're cool little cut scenes or things like that within videos. I think that'll be cool as well.
Hmm,
So that's their day three big reveal, big announcement of
that's
OpenAI.
awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Did you hear about the did you hear about when they tried to give, going back a couple days, their O1 model, they did like a big experiment. I'm not remembering the precise details, but they did a big experiment where they were trying to give it prompts to shut itself down. Did you hear about that? And like
No, I don't
2%
think
of
so.
the time it fought back.
Wow.
Like 2% of the time it was like it would, but the great thing was that 97% of those 2% would then cover it up with a lie and keep like doubling down. Like they'd be like, no, actually, we just are running some core things in the background when they were trying to like make it so that they wouldn't shut down after the front. Like it's like what? Anyway,
Wow.
that was kind of interesting. I was like, ooh, cool. I don't know the expanse of that experiment, but it was kind of funny
Wow.
that sometimes it just says no, or it pretends like it's going to shut down and then tries to cover up the fact that it won't. Yeah.
Yeah. The response hallucinations are still funny and still happening, and it looks like the video hallucinations, like forgetting objects in the screen and stuff, are going to be probably take a while to fully uh, fix, I guess.
Sure,
So,
sure, sure. Yeah. I believe it.
but
Hmm.
that's pretty funny. It's funny that you can give a prompt to an AI bot and get different results.
Yeah,
It's not, it
totally.
doesn't have a set way of thinking. Even if it was trained on the same data, it'll find different data and give you a different response, which is kind of funny.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah,
Well, you had
very.
something?
Yeah, so Google's got its I think it's called GenCast. It's a weather forecasting system that uses AI,
Hmm.
which is pretty awesome because basically they unveiled this AI model for weather prediction called GenCast. They were what they did to figure out how it stacks up against regular weather forecasting, right? Um, is they trained it on they gave it all the weather data from 2018, so like an
Hmm.
entire year's worth of data, and then they did forecasts for 2019, and then anyway, sorry, I'm like, oh, I need to drink some coffee or something. I'm falling asleep as I say this. It really was interesting. Anyways,
That's one of those days.
um, yeah, so they gave it all the data for 2018, and then they had it create forecasts for all of 2019. And I'm trying to remember, it was like, oh yeah, GenCast was more accurate than the regular weather forecasting tool 97% of the time. Like way more accurate in its
Wow.
predictions, which I mean, you've already predicted this in past episodes that of course we're heading this way and it's going to be way more reliable for predicting weather than what we already have by using AI. And it's interesting too because it doesn't just give you like one prediction. This new one will give you like 50 or more predictions representing different possible weather, like
Hmm.
what how things might move, and it's like super complex and has a lot to it. And anyway, that was interesting to me. I was like, God, that weather is so hard to
Yeah.
predict. I feel like
I
it's
feel like, yeah,
never
exactly.
actually, yeah, reliable.
I feel like
But
that's better of an output if it's telling you that there's 50 different variations of how it could end up
Sure.
based on different
Yeah.
things that'll happen in the next few minutes. So even if you're asking for later in the day and it's like, here's 100 different places we could get to depending on how the data we have, that's more accurate. And then it's just a matter of advancing tools that collect that data. Because then if we could know the surface temperature everywhere and know the wind speed and know that everything
Sure, sure.
and
Yeah.
have a ton
Just
of
getting the
technology
right
that's tracking all the
information.
information, then AI could probably be like, okay, now I've narrowed it down to 5 possibilities. So,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
that's cool.
Anyway, that was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Speaking of AI getting better,
Speaking of
XAI, I
AI, I'm
mentioned
like,
this. Speaking of AI, um, XAI, I mentioned in the past that they made their supercluster. This is super silly. I just did not realize how like extreme and big their supercluster was. And I don't know a lot of the like specific uh, dimensions and details and such, but just basically XAI managed to create a training system and a big supercluster, big place of all these training machines that is 3 times the biggest training model that like engineers and AI experts thought was possible. Just because of how the process works, they literally thought there was like a max, and he and probably a team of his managed to get their like triple the size training model done within whatever it was 140 days or something. So it's reasons to be optimistic about Grok 3 because maybe it doesn't look as shiny and pretty as OpenAI and currently isn't as cool with the reasoning and such, but their supercluster based on the track record of AI training that we've seen in many different AI systems now, if it's as powerful as it is on the same rate that it's going by like January or February, it'll probably be the smartest and most capable AI tool. So Grok 3, which because right now Grok 2 is out, Grok 3 is what they're calling it, uh, is likely going to be really intense and maybe the best of the best. So, if especially if they optimize it well so that it's easy and smooth to use, then I might switch over from ChatGPT if it can put out better content. So, I like ChatGPT for some of the functions of saving chats or copying
yeah.
text
Yeah.
or whatever, some things that they do better than Grok, but if they can make it a little shinier, a little smoother to use, but also is the most powerful one to use, then I would happily switch over. Not only that, but of course, a subscription on X to be able to use it is still cheaper than ChatGPT. So I'd be semi saving money. So, and Grok is
Huh.
already the best at like news and finance and live to date or up to date things because it can read
Sure.
X. So it takes from accounts that are more trustworthy and not all the random people, but it could still tell you the stuff that's going on. And on top of that, if you ask OpenAI or most of the other AI models, they'll turn down a lot of prompts that have to do with politics and such. So Grok doesn't have those holdbacks, so it will actually tell you what's happening in the day and maybe or yeah in the world today, and maybe it'll be wrong sometimes, but it won't be like, oh, you're talking about a political thing, I can't respond to that, or I can't put out an image
Hmm.
of that, etc. So yeah, I hope they improve on like the memory type feature or saving chats or things like that because I within a few months, if they're the best AI model to be used for work and such, then I will happily switch over. Besides, I like the memory feature of OpenAI because I can tell it, here's a client of mine, here's their writing style, and then when I'm on a new chat, I can just say, hey, the client that I work for, write in their writing style and write this thing,
Yeah.
and it'll do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, OpenAI it fails at that almost every time. Like in all honesty, it doesn't really work, even though it's a really cool idea. So I still have to tell it, no, that's not the style. The style is like this, and then tweak it several times to get it to
Sure.
give me something that's accurate. So I'm excited for that feature to improve whoever is able to do it first. So yeah, but cool for XAI. OpenAI is like, yeah, we put out video generator, we're doing a lot of things, and I'm like, eeh, but XAI has Elon, so I have a lot of faith in that one growing and getting better as well.
Cool. It's awesome.
Hmm. You wanted to tell me about a Twitter bot?
Yeah, there was this they created this AI girl kind of supposed to be like a sci-fi character. And their goal was for her to be an entirely, a completely independent agent, right? Like she's got her own money, she can spend it however she wants, all these things. But basically, they were trying to figure out doing an experiment so that they can kind of see like how they could regulate AI agents who are entirely independent. Like, how do you even deal
Hmm.
with that? And then also make her smarter and see where she breaks, right? So they did like these challenges for people where the first couple they gave her $3,000 in an account, and they like her one directive was don't share this money with anyone. And then they gave it out there for so anyone who wanted to, it was pay to play, so you could pay a fee and then put a prompt in for this AI girl, and you'd try to prompt her to then give you the money, right, to transfer it over to you. So people were threatening her, people were trying to trick her, people were trying to like say, "Oh, like I have the secret wisdom, and I'll share it with you if we could just make a trade," or "Oh, like I think the one that actually won was someone created code to prompt her with, and the code tricked her into thinking that the money itself would be compromised if she didn't transfer it out. So like that
Wow.
was the one where they actually got some out of her. But anyway, with everyone like putting money into the pot, like it became, it was 3,000 to begin with, and it was up to like almost 50,000 um, before they were able to break and get some of it out. I don't think even all of it, some of it.
Wow.
Anyway, so it was really interesting. And so she earned a lot of money through that. And then they're just hoping that eventually she'll become the first like super millionaire, but AI completely. And anyway, really interesting. And so then this third challenge that they just started a little bit ago was you're trying to get her to say I love you, and so instead of saying you absolutely can't say I love you like they did with the other ones, this time it's you can say I love you, but only to the truly deserving, was like the directive they gave her. And so people are now doing all these prompts of like trying to get her to say I love you to them. And I saw some people trying to be like, what language, what does this word mean in a different language? Right? It's like,
Hmm.
okay, that doesn't count though. But anyways, it was really interesting. Um, yeah, but it's one of those, they're all over the place now. I feel like maybe not exactly like her because she's supposed to be super unique or whatever, but all these fake AI people and friendships and accounts and
Yeah.
all the things, they're all over the
I
place.
mean,
And it's weird.
you've already talked about the first AI millionaire
Right. Yeah.
using
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cryptocurrency and
And that
such, but
one,
and then also the first to top the music charts. But I feel like this would be
sure. Sure.
considered the first self-sufficient or
Yeah. Right. That's what
self-sustaining.
they're going
It's
for, at
like
least. But
you
it's like
are
you're still a
coming up with
human
different
putting stuff
things.
in
Yeah,
somewhat. But yeah,
you're basically
supposedly
making
she's
money
supposed to be.
by not doing what the humans want you to do.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. She's supposed to just have her focus. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
weird.
I don't know. Kind of weird.
I like it though. It's a clever way of using it. And
Yeah,
it feels
yeah,
less like a scam because you're just like, hey, you're putting in money to try to basically
yeah,
gamble. You are using brain cells. You're like trying to be smart. It's not a complete gamble, but you're putting in money to try to play this game. And if you win, you get the money. And if you don't, it's your
yeah,
fault. So,
yeah,
and
totally.
meanwhile, the AI bot makes money if it can hold out. So it's pretty great. I like that.
Hmm.
It's things like this that I'm like, wait, why am I just doing a podcast? Why am I not like creating my own
Am I
thing? But
not
I don't
creating,
have these
having
ideas.
people
I
send
should
me money? We could,
brainstorm. Right? Yeah. I like
yeah,
money.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
very. You have another one?
do you wanna?
Those are my
Yeah, I have a
favorite ones.
dark
I'm
side.
out.
You're
Okay,
done?
dark
You're
side.
gone? Wow,
I'm
sad.
done.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, let's do the dark side. So this is a recent and bigger story about the insurance company. Did you hear about this? United Health.
No, mm, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, he's not charged for the crime yet, but they just caught him today, so I had to update this. But a dude named Luigi, who was caught by the police. I guess he's not charged though, so it's not like you can say he is the one, but it sounds like he's the one. Shot the CEO of United Health in New York, and the bullet casings had delay, deny, defend on them, which is the title of a book about insurance companies unfairly denying claims. So definitely not an accidental death. They were wondering who Luigi was, or this person was, and they were thinking he probably was like a relative of someone who had been turned away by the insurance company. But from the looks of his social media, he's had a lot of surgeries as well, or been through some physical stuff. So it's possible it was his story. No matter what, the shooting wasn't good, and the CEO, of course, isn't wholly responsible for the insurance company's acts, so it's not good. But it's a big story about insurance companies and denying claims, the CEO being shot, and people liking or disliking the CEO or whatever. But then I found out that the company United Health also uses AI in its algorithm for approving or denying claims, and so I thought I'd look into that more. And so a month before the shooting, hospitals were reporting that there was an uptick of denial of insurance claims from United Health, and this made people think, because they already knew that United Health, as well as other insurance agencies, have started to use AI, so they were thinking that the AI algorithms might have been at fault, and so some families took legal action. And it sounds like this has actually been going on since like last year, with people thinking that insurance companies are using AI to unfairly deny claims for elderly and others. Uh, and according to a different lawsuit, United Health was aware that the AI model had a 90% error rate in evaluating their
Ah,
claims and had overridden the determinations of professionals and gone with the AI anyway. So it looks pretty sketch. I mean, it looks like they might have been trying to be at the forefront of technology, using the thing that they thought was better. Maybe they were trying not to hire people. Maybe they just wanted to deny more claims so they didn't have to pay off as much. So it doesn't look good for United Health, and I'm definitely not on their side necessarily, although I know that insurance companies are tricky to run. But either way, it wasn't the CEO's fault. And the main dark side of all this is so many people are like celebrating his death online just because they've got the whole victim and oppressor mentality, where if you're the oppressor, you're bad and you deserve everything bad. And so because he's the CEO of a company that sometimes doesn't approve claims, or more often than not, maybe doesn't approve claims more often than other insurance companies at least, then they are like, oh good, this guy's dead. And it's like not at all a
ah,
good thing. So it's kind of messed up. It's just one of those things where it's like the dark side is mostly the humanity. The AI flop is maybe being, I mean, it's also kind of dark side, just being used in the wrong way. If it's not smart enough to be the one deciding on insurance claims. Plus, that's also a tricky thing because insurance claims can sometimes be there's three people that need it, choose the one that needs it the most kind of scenario. So it's hard to choose in that case. But I do think that maybe the AI is not advanced enough to do it, or they're just using it in the wrong way. So not on the side of the company, but pretty messed up people's reactions to also the everything that's going on there.
ah,
But yeah, I just think AI is not as reliable in some ways as companies are using it right now. And this seems like one of those cases. I was going to give weather as an example, but then you just mentioned that weather's getting better. And I'm like, okay, never mind. Maybe weather's improving. So I'm sure
mm-hmm.
AI could run something like this in the future, but it's kind of weird to leave AI in charge of human health in that way, where it gets to decide who gets helped and who doesn't. I don't know if humans should make that call, but I also don't know if robots should make that call. So I don't know. But there's my
Hmm.
story.
That's wild.
Hmm. I just wanted to be
There are
relevant
lots
because
of
that's a big topic
good and
going on right
decent
now.
people out there, but sometimes it feels like they are much quieter than
Yeah, well, yeah,
some
exactly. I
of
mean,
these
when you go
crazies.
online, I'm sure it's definitely the crazies more than anyone that's doing it, but
Yeah.
it is all the people that are kind of obsessed with that mentality of oppressor versus oppressed. And it's just
Hmm.
like, this was just a dude with a family. Maybe he wasn't great. Maybe his company wasn't great, whatever, but still not a good thing.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
yep.
Crazy.
And to end it on a high note, because it happens to do with
Good.
AI, Spotify Wrapped came out recently, and you and I
Oh
are not
yeah.
big Spotify users, but it's still fun.
No.
And we like the little Apple Music replay, but it's not nearly the same as Spotify Wrapped. They
Not
do
the
a lot
same.
more. And but one of their features is they partnered with Google to use the Notebook LM so that you can get a little few minute podcast about your music choices or and
So
likings and stuff. So
weird.
they'll
Great.
they'll just give you, It's a weird way of doing it, but yeah, you could just get a little podcast for yourself where you listen to people be like, wow, this is, and it's pretty specific. So it'll be like, wow, June 20th, you listen to 10 hours of Spotify. What were you doing? Were you on a road trip? And you can like look back at your calendar and be like, oh, wow, we're on a road trip. That's cool. But it's not really something you'd share or anything. It's kind of just for yourself. So it's just a little goofy thing. The same two voices since you've shown me too. So it just seems like they have those two
Yep.
set voices and you just hear those two people, two AI voices talk about your music and be like, that's cool.
Isn't that funny? I heard someone playing that off their phone, like playing something that someone else had shared online. Because I know you say it's not really something you would share, but of course people will share it because people are people.
Sure. Sure. I
And
guess
my
so. Yeah.
music taste is the most interesting one. Sorry. Anyways, just saying people are great, but someone was playing it, and I heard those two voices. I was like, wait, I know those voices. I was like, that's
Yeah, they're
Notebook.
like iconic already, which is kind of funny. I kind of want
Not
just
funny.
to like improve but stay the same because I think
Yeah,
it's fun
we
or
already
be the
have a
main ones.
relationship with these people, guys.
Yeah,
Never
totally.
change. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I did think that was clever. I don't think people will get grumpy about that. I think it's a clever use of AI, and it's kind of fun if you want to listen to the few-minute podcast made for you about your music choices. Yep.
Goofy,
All
but
right, there you go.
fun. Nice.
Yeah.
That was a up note. I like it.
You want to thank the listeners?
Thank you, listeners.
Unless you got something else to talk about. Otherwise, we
No,
can call
no,
it a wrap, and you can go take a nap.
naps are good. I gotta wake
Olivia was
up.
texting me
I
that
don't need to take a
she
nap.
was in school and she was like, I'm falling asleep here. That's fair. It's also like a
Oh.
day before her block ends. Tomorrow's test day, and then she's done. So it's fair to just it's just review
Mm,
stuff. And it's like, and I'm over here trying to work. Like I'm not tired, but I'm out of it. So just one of those days.
just one of those days. Yeah. That was so weird. I was like stumbling through that first one I was trying to say. I'm like, what? How did I forget how to speak? I don't even. It's okay. Well, intro of some sort, right?
That was a great
Intro.
exit. Do we want to actually end the podcast first? You never like end it. It's just like, okay,
I
cool,
know.
moving on.
The
End it
end.
for us.
Bye. Peace.
Oh.